Banks in the industry have unleashed on clarity, and over 100 amendments have actually been filed today. We're going to break it all down with an expert that I think you will love, so stick around for that. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is OKX, where you guys can get out there and do a lot, including trading $200 to unlock 100. So if you're ready for a volatile market, this is one of the places you can go, and OKX.com. Check it out. We're going to leave a link down below. Let's go over to a clip that I want to get into, because there is a lot happening now. As of yesterday, we knew that the markup was occurring tomorrow, and now, of course, our anticipation appears to be happening. So take a look at this one.
Crypto market structure legislation going to markup on Thursday, which would be a historic moment, and the energy here is just palpable.
35% chance of passage at this point in time.
I was at 60 last week, so now I'm at 90.
I think the banks could still derail it. I mean, frankly, I think they're being disingenuous. I think they're playing a cynical game.
309 pages, really? 309 pages. Like everybody had time to read through that. I'm reading a self-help book right now. I can't read it in one day. I'm dehydrated.
I don't want to put fear in everybody. I don't find myself agreeing with Schumer on many things in the world. I kind of get him at this point. This is a big hurdle.
And when you see things like this Housing Act in there, you wonder, and you have the banks up the Republicans' ass.
But my money is still lies on the bankers. They're going to win that battle.
I just don't see it happening.
All right, so let me bring in Rebecca Rettig, who is coming in from Jito Labs. How are you there, Rebecca?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
We put this up yesterday. Actually, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And it was our anticipation of 100 amendments. Well, we missed it by a little bit. It's 135 amendments. With that many coming in and the kind of thing that we're seeing right now, first of all, what was your first take on what you saw coming out of D.C. this morning?
This number of amendments isn't surprising, quite honestly. And we saw maybe this level or close to this level last time the markup was anticipated before it got shut down in January. So, we were expecting this. I think we were expecting a lot of the types of amendments we saw. And as your question from the clip showed, we certainly were expecting a number from Elizabeth Warren too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you've got it right here. More than 100 amendments have been submitted ahead of the Senate Banking Committee markup vote. This is all coming in right now. There were some wild ones too coming in from Elizabeth Warren. Everybody that had amendments locked in, you've got also Brooks there, Britt there, Cortez Masto, Gallego, which we anticipated a lot there. And then, of course, the Warren amendments, which have pretty much kind of taken over the bottom half of the document other than Reid. So the point is we've got a lot, but this goes into anti-DeFi, and that is one of the things that I'm most concerned with. Let me zoom in on these right here, which is coming in from the DeFi Education Fund with Amendment 16. This, of course, is rewriting BRCA. This is a problem. This is a big problem. Then you got 17 also striking protections for non-controlling developers. I mean, this is really bad for DeFi. The way it is right now, it almost negates the entire DeFi section of the original proposal. So what do you make of this so far in terms of what's happening right now in regards to this?
Great question. Let's break it down a little bit so your viewers who may not have as much detail on policy can understand. So the BRCA is the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. It's really important because what that does, and it was originally proposed in the House in a bipartisan way by two big longtime crypto advocates,
right,
that non-controlling software developers, so if you don't take custody and you don't take control of user funds, you will not be designated as a money transmitter who has to register as a money services business under federal law and then take on all the obligations of the Bank Secrecy Act. And it's really, really important because, as we've seen from the Tornado Cash Roman Storm case and other investigations, the Samurai case, things like that, there were questions under a criminal part of the criminal code, section 1960, where people were being charged for failing to register as a money services business when they were DeFi developers. Obviously, some of the facts of the cases I mentioned are very specific, and we're not going to paint everyone with that brush, but we do need to have developers in this country have those protections. And so stripping out protections for non-controlling software developers will chill innovation in the United States. And one of the things that Clarity is really meant to do is to give us all who are builders in this space the ability to move forward and innovate without fear and just be able to run our businesses like many other tech companies in the United States.
And to the point here is this is basically an innovation killer. Do you think there's a possibility that any of this sticks?
Senator Cortez Masto has been really out there on making sure law enforcement has all the tools that it needs and also ensuring that we have people who we can hold accountable, even in these autonomous and permissionless software systems. I don't know if these amendments will hold, but I think they may be put out there in order to try to push a compromise in some way, shape, or form.
This was one of the amendments that came in from Warren, actually 4 of the amendments, I guess, in reference to capping credit card interest rates now was thrown into this. Hey, if you like 25, okay, not 25, maybe 20, 15, 10. You know, it just seems like this is a little bit silly in terms of the kind of addressing of a major bill that really resets the financial structure here in the United States. Is this, I mean, you've been in DC long enough. You've seen a lot of this kind of going back and forth. Is this typical?
Honestly, yes. People have interests. They want to see if they can push them through. They at least want people like us to be talking about them and recognizing them because it just gives more airtime to some of their causes. So I do actually think this is typical. I don't know, that may be a little cynical, but I do think it's typical.
One of the, I think the most idiotic was this one right here where Jack Reed was prohibiting crypto from being used as legal tender for paying taxes. So now they don't want crypto as tax money, I guess, in general?
I think it's basically saying that the government can't accept like Bitcoin instead of cash or something like that. And we're still at the place where under the tax laws in the US, crypto is categorized as property and you can't use your property to pay your taxes. So I don't even know if, I don't even really understand this.
Well, of why it's in there, I would think that would find its way into an actual tax regulation. This was another issue of the situation where the bankers were pushing back saying, hey, we don't really agree with any of this. And this was in reference to debating on X or social media in general. You know, we don't think social is the place to debate that. Unfortunately, almost all of business, next generation investors, and really anybody that understands what's going on, this is where the debate is happening, and banking should have been there. Why?
The crypto policy sort of power structure has come from X. And the longer you're in DC, the more you hear the staffers read it, or we can't do this in the bill because Senator or Representative X, Y, and Z reads Twitter. And when this one Twitter personality says they don't like this provision of the bill, that'll have a ripple effect. So I'm saying we're very professional and trying to downplay policy debates happening on X is really not staying current to where things are and to understanding how power and the shift of power has really changed, occurred in the last few years. Think back when we were having debates about the broker rule many years ago. Right. Crypto really got things shut down in a different way because they used Twitter. So I think it's fairly narrow-minded or antiquated not to think that policy debates are happening on it.
It definitely shows their hand in terms of not being ready for next generation finance, which is the issue right now. However, over the weekend, you had the ABA, the American Bankers Association, absolutely got nuts on sending more letters. You got 8,000 letters to Senate offices, all urging against the stablecoin yield compromise. Will these letters make a difference to the senators that are there right now reviewing this markup?
Well, I don't want to be untrue to our people because to go back to the broker rule, we did a whole letter writing campaign. Now it was automated and we had something like 40,000 letters. I don't remember exactly the number. I don't know if the letters themselves are going to make a difference. I do think the way that banks are, putting pressure on particular members of Congress may have a bearing when things get out of markup and onto the floor, but that remains to be seen. But, I think people do letter writing campaigns. I'm not sure this is going to change anything in the markup.
You look at what Stand With Crypto has done. The banking lobbyist popped out their 8K. Obviously, Stand With Crypto doing much more in terms of frequency. They had 300,000 emails in the past few months. 1.5 million times in terms of contacting a lawmaker. Right. That's insane. How is this not just a slam dunk with all of these senators? 1.5 million contacts? How would this not be the will of the people?
That's a great question. It goes back to what you said before, which I haven't heard a ton of people say, but I've long time felt. This bill will be the most sweeping change to financial law and regulation that we've seen since Dodd-Frank, which was, almost 2 decades ago at this point, or a little less than that. And I think that it also comes with this technology bent to it that has given concerns on, by various either older members of Congress or people who are less familiar with how technology works. And there is some fear around technology in DC by some. And so I think seeing this huge overhaul of certain types of financial laws that come along with technology may make it hard for people to just 100% jump on board. Plus, bills take a long time to do. Not everybody is always, even if it makes sense, 100% on board because they have different constituents and, people saying it will impact them in different ways. So I don't know if I think, just the letter writing campaigns or the phone calls are going to be the answer in full.
What about the lobbies coming from some of these unions? You've got the police lobby now targeting developer protections. This is going right after Section 2 or 604. So what do you think about that? I mean, they're pulling out all the stops here. It's coming from all angles.
They are. 604 is the BRCA. It's what we were talking about earlier. And I think that, the BRCA doesn't take away any tool that law enforcement has. And it doesn't take away the ability to use federal criminal laws either. It doesn't actually touch what law enforcement does. And I think there are other parts of the bill that are going to enable better tools for law enforcement in many different ways. And I think focusing solely narrowly on the BRCA and not looking at all the other tools that the bill will facilitate for law enforcement is, it's just myopic. It's looking at one thing. But DeFi and the BRCA has been, tip of the spear in many ways. And I will say the DeFi Education Fund has been an amazing advocate on this front.
Do you think there is any chance that this might end up on the negotiation table? Like, we're going to give you this if you give us this?
There already has been language that has been suggested about intent that has been added to this version of the BRCA versus the January version of the BRCA, which says if you have actual intent to be a money transmitter and to facilitate improper transfers of money, then you don't get protected by this section. That does codify the law, so that's fine. So there may be some additional negotiation around language, but elimination of the BRCA from this bill is a red line. It's a red line for the White House. They've already been very, very clear about that, and it is definitely a red line for industry.
Listen, we've got some crypto professional FUD actors out there. One of them, Ben McKensie. He's got the author of Easy Money. Everyone is lying to you. His new, screening of his documentary. It went out there. Lots of PR around this. Timing, very interesting. Obviously coming at the same time that all of this is happening. What do you make of these professional? I feel like these are professional actors now that are in the market.
Yeah, well, you were much more politic than I thought you'd be. I think the timing was very deliberate. And I will tell you the word coming out of DC last night is that it was not a well-attended screening. So do with that what you will. And I think that people have made a profession out of being crypto skeptics. And we've seen it. And a lot of those people have fallen out. And I don't think it is going to end well because to have this type of 309 pages of a bill means this is a serious industry doing serious things, and we need serious laws for it too.
Yeah, no doubt. Latest update is that Kennedy will vote yes. I don't know if this is coming out as fact, but these are coming across the wires right now, basically saying, hey, we're looking at going into this. He's got to deal with Chairman Scott. What do you make of this? Do you think this would possibly sway things a bit?
I do. I think this is getting out of committee regardless. And the question is then when will it get to the Senate floor? I think the deal with Chairman Scott on creating fiduciary duty for people within the crypto world is interesting. I'm not sure if that's a euphemism for ethics, because obviously that's still a big issue that hasn't been resolved yet, but I think that may be.
All right, so at least that's somewhat of a positive sign. I think it also boils down to where we stand on the senators, especially on the Democratic side, that are aligning. Masto is one of the key ones that we've talked about with a couple of other analysts out there. Let's go to the Securitize news, because this was interesting right here. Securitize, Jump Trading, and Jupiter Exchange now launching fully on-chain regulated trading for tokenized equities. Do you think that, were you expecting this to ever happen? Because they were kind of anti this for quite some time.
So I don't know if I think this is going to be permissionless, though. I think these are permissioned pools. Because I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't looked exactly at the tech, but I don't know if you can do fully permissionless trading of equity securities yet, especially when you have they're actually holding the underlying. So I think these probably are permission/KYC pools. But again, I could be wrong. I just don't know anyone who's enabled permissionless equities trading where the underlying is being held yet.
Okay, so would JPX do permissionless? JTX, sorry.
Oh, JTX. All those features are yet to come. We'll launch in July, and we'll launch with spot crypto, but we will have things being enabled over time. And I'm working on the equity side, of course.
I'm feeling that might be a possibility. I don't know. I can't read you right now. I can't read you if you're giving me anything there. When you look at Perps, Solana secured the Perps handle on X. Do you think we'll see U.S. Perps after Clarity?
So Clarity doesn't touch Perps at all, actually. It only touches spot crypto trading and would enable the CFTC to have jurisdiction over spot commodity trading in the digital asset space, which they don't have jurisdiction over spot now, except for fraud and anti-manipulation. So no market manipulation, no fraud with respect to spot, but otherwise they have no jurisdiction. They just actually do complicated derivatives. Clarity doesn't touch any types of derivatives that are already regulated by the Commodity Exchange Act. And so what we need to have Perps trading in the US is guidance and rulemaking from the CFTC.
Yeah, do you think CLEG will roll that out? Yeah, okay, so it's coming.
Yes.
All right, so let's get into our lightning round with you. Clarity markup is a surprising bipartisan success. Do you think that will actually happen? No. I'm in agreement with you there, not a chance, but we'll work our way through it. If markup fails, it's over.
Disagree.
What is the vehicle out of this mess?
Great question. I've been through 4 or 5 different crypto market structure bills in my policy life in the crypto space. This won't be over. I think, look, this is the closest we've ever been, and we really need to work to get it across the line now, and it will be net positive for the industry. But I don't think everybody will walk away from the table. They will find another opportunity. They will make whatever deals they need to make, but I don't think people are going to let it go.
Okay, all right. Clarity will be meddled with after successful markup and become the opposite of what we wanted, which feels like it's already there. You think we'll be...
I disagree. It will be meddled with, but I don't think it'll become the opposite of what we wanted. So as a lawyer, I have to say disagree to the whole thing.
All right, I'm going to be in the middle there because I'm concerned about that right now because the power is there.
That's fair.
What will Democrats mention more during the markup? You think they'll go after the criminality or something like the ethics issue?
That's such a great question. Well, if world liberty is a euphemism for ethics, they will talk a lot about ethics.
All right.
Because it's just not a settled issue, enough yet.
I'm going to go opposite. I think they're going after the criminality of it because it's just it's Warren's base,
I know, and honestly, that was my first instinct, and I really hate going against my gut. But let's see what happens.
Citadel and DTCC are secretly behind the Anti-DeFi Amendments to protect TradFi.
I don't think that the DTCC, but I do think Citadel, SIFMA, and others certainly are pushing anti-DeFi.
Okay, I'll go middle of the way there. I'm in agreement with Citadel. Clarity passing equals a similar scenario like what Ripple did when they won their court case, but now it would happen for every blockchain in terms of the market. What do you think? Yes?
Yeah, I don't know about a pump, but yeah, I think it'll be very net positive for the market.
Net positive.
You put me in the middle. Yeah, net positive.
In the middle. You gotcha. All right, I think it's going to be net positive. JTX, there we go, unleashes products the day after Trump signs Clarity.
Yes.
Okay, that was a softball question. So Rebecca.
All right, well, the layup. Well, I had to, I had to do the timing in my head of when the bill was signed.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. Well, it's summer, so you guys got to get working over there. MEV revenue will ferociously return after Clarity. Do you think that will happen?
I mean, it comes from usage of blockchains in many ways, right? There are positive uses of on-chain revenue, and from that perspective, sure.
With you on that one. And we move into this. What would theoretically happen if Jito Labs decided it wanted to go public?
Wow. My lawyer brain is exploding right now, but my excited brain is also doing the same. We're going to go with Unity.
Unity. All right. Okay. I can't answer that question. I don't know. I don't have any inside coverage here. Tokenized
It's not happening, but I just had to go through all the legal ramifications of all of it.
But okay, yeah, in a perfect world. Anthropic's SVPs now are officially meme coins. We talked about this a little bit pre-show. You think that's the case now? Yeah.
A little bit.
All right. There you go, guys. Meme coins on your SVPs out there on these secondary market tokens. All right, listen, Rebecca, it has been great having you on. We're going to cover a lot more this week on what's happening with Clarity. We always love getting people like you with inside insights to what's happening out there. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.